Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the request on the web video that a lot of people have been saying they don't get. So I'm just going to be needing the following tools for my pattern drafting. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark my waist, and the reason why I'm doing that is if you've watched my skirt pattern, or if you've watched any skirt pattern, any trouser pattern, you see that you have a starting point, and that starting point, if you're making anything that is below the waist, is usually for the waist. So that is why my first line is going to be for the waist, my second is going to be for upper hip, and upper hip is usually from your waist to like 6 inches, while your lower hip is usually from the waist to like 8 inches, which is usually the fullest part of your body. So, and the third line is lower hip, the fourth line is going to be my crotch, and then my gusset. So I went ahead and marked 6 inches for my upper hip, and then I'm going to mark 8 inches for my lower hip. So if you don't know how to measure your crotch points, okay, I think body rise is different from crotch points. Okay, I'm just going to use crotch points, a crotch line. If you're sewing a trouser, so if you don't know how to measure it, just go watch videos on how to measure it, or search through the Google. You see a lot of pictures that will pop up. So mine, I've measured it, is 9.5 inches, and if you're a medium size underwear wearer, it's just going to be around that size. So 9.5 inches is constant. So when I'm done, the next thing I'm going to be measuring now is to divide this whole pattern by 2. I'll be using one as my center front and the other as my center back. So I'm just going to go ahead and label all my lines, and then the 2 things that remain is just my gusset, and to finish it up by putting my measurement. So my gusset for the front is going to be 1.5 inches, so I'm just going to mark like this and then rule straight. And then my gusset for the back is going to be 2.5 inches. So I mark 2.5 inches on the back, and then I'll rule as well. So I have my gusset for the back, and I have my gusset for the front now. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is, since my true waist is starting from 6 inches, for underwear is not usually like that. I'm very sure that a lot of people would know that if they are wearing underwear, it doesn't usually start from the waist. So because of that, I'm just going to be coming down by 2 inches, which is where underwear normally sits. And if you're not okay with wearing low waist underwear, just put it at 1.5. But right now I'm going to be using 2 inches, and then I'll rule it straight. That is where I'm going to be putting all measurements for the waist. So I'm just going to mark that as my new waist. So when I'm done, what I'm just going to do is take my round waist measurement, divide it by 4, and then I'm going to put it there. Mine is 7.5, and I will do the same thing at the back, 7.5 as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to take my gusset line. So my gusset line is 1 inch, both for the front and for the back, 1 inch. So the next thing I'm going to be doing on my upper hip now is to put my hip measurement. But before that, I'm going to come out by an angle of 45 on an angle of 45, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to connect from my gusset to that point. Then I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4, and then I'm going to mark it on my upper hip point or line, and then I'm going to divide it by 2 just to get a line there, and from there I'll come up by 0.5, connect the line. At this point, that mark my basic front panties pattern or underwear pattern. So I'm going to come to my back, and then I'll mark my hip measurement as well, connect it together, and then work on the down part. So from here, I'm going to connect to that 1 inch. From there, from that 1 inch, I'll go up by 1 or 0.5. So I'm just going to go up by 0.5 here, and then I'm going to mark the midpoint. I'm going to come down by 0.5. I'm going to join from here like this, and then from here like that. So be sure to put the curve of that back. You can freehand it first before you go ahead with your pattern master. So at this point as well, my back pattern is relatively done. So you know that at the back, the pant is usually going up because of the hip. So I'm going to mark 0.5 there and connect from my waist. Then I'm going to cut everything out and then find a way to cut out my gusset. Please, if you understand it to this point, please go ahead and like, comment and share. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe. So that is my back. This is going to be my front. I'll cut it out and then make a way for my gusset.
What we do here is go back.
So I'm just going to mark a straight line here, just like this, and then I'm going to tape this down, both of them. So I think it's wise to overlap it by 0.5 inches there, because there's no sewing at the center of our underwear. That is why we have to bring out our gussets from our underwear. So I'll go up by 1 inch there, or 1.5 depend on you, and then from my gusset line there I'm going to go up by 0.5. I will rule it and then cut it out. So it depends on you. If you still want your gusset to go up, you can still make it 1 inch. It depends on you. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut mine out like that. If you still go like that, you're still going to give the same it's going to give the same article. Okay, so now this is my pattern. Now from this basic pattern, I can definitely go to any length with my underwear. I can decide to make it like this. The only thing is just that I'm not going to be getting to my gusset. Whatever I do, I'm not going to be touching my gusset. So I can decide to have 2 inches as my side measurement. I can even decide to have it like this. Any design I want to do, I can go ahead and do it at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut it out like this using the first design because it's the most common one. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut it out like that, and then go and cut my fabric and sew so that you guys can see it. Don't forget to label, and don't forget that your center front, center back is on fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace the gusset out. And at this point, I could tell you, if you want to add sewing allowance to your underwear, just add 0.3 millimeter. That is basically what is being added to pant, because you are still going to be adding some extra fabric, maybe for the fold over or for the elastic band you are going to add. So it's going to add that 3 millimeter to it. So I'll just go ahead and ignore it. So it's not necessary. It will not take from my underwear, and it's not add to it. So that's just it. So like I said, you might decide to add your gusset from your front. It really doesn't matter. You still give the same outcome. So I've been using this basic pattern for a lot of underwear, and they really do come out nice. They come out very, very fine, and that's it. So that is it for my pattern. I went ahead to cut fabric, so I'm just using basic cotton fabric. So you can go ahead and change yarn. You can use the front as a lace, use the back as a cotton, just do whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead, pin the gusset like this. So I cut 2 gussets. So that's just it. I'll be pinning the gusset like this, and then I'll be sewing on a straight stitch. If you have a serger, just go ahead and serge it. So I'm done doing that. You can trim the excesses and then put the front like that, and then the other one, just use it to wrap it around and then pin it like that. And so like I said, you can serge it. So when you're done sewing, you can trim out any excesses and then join the 2 sides, then join whatever elastic you're using to the waist and then to the 2 leg openings. That is it for underwear. You're done at that point. Like I said, you can go ahead and trim any excesses. So if you're using the fold over, which I'm going to be using, after sewing these 2 points, it's just normal, fold it over and sew. Fold it over the raw edges, just like the name implies. Fold over elastic, fold it over and sew. If you are using the lace, just put it from the inside. There are a lot of tutorials online where you can easily learn how to put edgings on underwear. It could be lace, it could be pie cut edge lace, it could be fold over, it could be anything. Just go ahead and do whatever it is you want. So at this point, I'll just make a little bit of adjustment that comes from my cuttings, and then fold my elastic over and finish it off. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like and share. Thank you. See you in my next video. Thank you.